Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
So I'm Dolly Bhasin. I welcome Ankita and Pooja for this session on sustainable fashion. This is a part of webinar series that we are doing for promoting the Sustainable Future Ideathon. This Ideathon is being conducted by an institute in Kokrajhar called CIT. And I'm a part of a project called STI Hub, which is supported by the Ministry of Science and Technology to work with the Bodo tribe to uplift their livelihood as well as help them to really adopt technology. So when we started with this work, we didn't know much about the Bodo community, but when I went deeper, I found that they have such a rich experience, rich culture, as well as a lot of possibility or a lot of opportunities that they can avail if they really work on it. Unfortunately, they have been behind for a very long time, and it would take a lot of time for them to really understand and get back into the mainstream. Just for information, Bodoland was one of the very troubled area in Assam. So it's just about 2 decades that they have been free from most of the militant activities, and now it's a very peaceful area, but still it needs a lot of developmental effort. So, without further ado, let us really kickstart in understanding what we are doing, and especially on the Ideathon. And out of the 5 themes of the Ideathon, sustainable fashion is one. So we thought that let us really begin with sustainable fashion, because this is something that everyone would understand and relate to it, because whether we like it or not, everybody is enamored with fashion, but they don't understand the negative effects. And there is where Ankita has been kind enough to really spare her time to really talk to us, and let us see what we have as a. So, as I mentioned, Sustainable Future Ideathon is the Ideathon concept, which has been specially curated for Northeast. And currently, the focus is Bodoland, but I intend to really have it in the entire Northeast, because the problems remain more or less the same. And through this activity, or you could call it an intervention, I am trying to really seek out experts from all over the country and see how we could really brainstorm to really bring back one of underdeveloped area into the kind of potential that it has. So, Ankita, without further ado, I'd like to first have your introduction by yourself. I know you through your LinkedIn post, and I was very enamored, and I have been interacting with you through LinkedIn. But can you formally introduce yourself, please?
Oh, thank you for the invitation. I am Ankita Bairathi. I'm the founder of Getmore Sustainable Solution. It's a company dedicated to providing sustainable solution in many fields like water, fashion, and others. But I am taking the head of the department for fashion because I have a background in fashion. So I explored fashion in various ways. But when I explored this way, like the waste, the landfills, and everything, so I thought to take up this as a project for a lifetime now. So I mostly work at the intersection of sustainable fabrics, product development, and fashion strategy, how the product is marketed through sustainable only, and how we can procure samples, fabrics, everything, how we can design our whole collection taking sustainability in mind. So I'm excited to be part of this conversation.
Great. So, quickly, I'll introduce myself. I'm a technologist. I've been in the technology industry for last 40 years. And I happened to really take cognizance of the sustainability quite early on, about 20, 25 years back. I come from a small city, Udaipur, and Udaipur had a lot of potential in terms of tourism, but it was very untapped potential. So I started working on it right from college. And when I stepped up as an entrepreneur, and the first thing that I did was to really work on the tourism side. Though I'm a hardcore communication engineer, worked on projects across the country on some 20 different technologies and so on and so forth. But my heart lies in uh, developing solutions for the ones which haven't been developed. So I'm an innovator by heart and by practice also. So naturally, I built this SmartEdge platform, which is a platform for innovators, and I go all out to really help innovators to innovate and help them to understand how to use technology for innovation. So, coming back to sustainable solutions, especially in the fashion industry, what is your take? How do you really define the sustainability in terms of fashion industry?
So yeah, for me, sustainability is system thinking. It's not about product, it's about the whole system. It's about the whole mentality when you are talking about sustainability, from choosing the fabric, from hiring the workers, from like everything includes the sustainability in mind. So for me, it's like the whole system, not a single thing. Like starting, if we start to think about the problem, the waste, the landfills, the water consumption in the farming of cotton, if we think about the problem first, then we automatically start to think about the solution. So you have to start thinking like this, educate ourselves in the form of knowing the problems and then the solution.
Great. So, in essence, what I can understand that sustainable fashion, you think that fashion industry is plagued with certain problem areas which need to be addressed, especially from
Yes.
the sustainability angles. So, what are the top three areas that you think are really a need to be addressed?
I think the most important area is education. Our consumer is uneducated, and that's why it's demanding like fast fashion, and we are going after trends. If we don't demand, then company will not produce. So I think the base of the problem is the colleges also. They are not educating their children about it. They don't teach them about how the product will end, how the product, what is the product's life cycle, what is the mapping of life cycle. They don't know it. They don't know about fabrics. They don't know about organic. They only know about collections, schemes, and everything. So I think education is the foremost problem. I think 90% of people are not educated in terms of choosing the right fabric, choosing the right garment for them.
Great. So this is a problem which actually requires behavioral change.
Yeah.
Now, one of the toughest tasks that every company faces is how to really change the consumer behavior. And to do that requires a lot of effort, not just in education, but also in terms of
Yeah.
changing lifestyle and trying
Yeah.
to adopt more sustainable lifestyle. How do you think we can do that in the current context in fashion industry? The fashion
Sorry.
in the fashion industry, how do you think that we should be able to really reach out to the consumers and bring in sustainability into their practices?
I think we have to stop chasing trends first. We don't need garments every now and then. We don't need new fashion. First of all, we have to think that we have to think the longevity of a product. First of all, we have to think like how this product will end. I think my kind of solution starts with educating the customer. We have to think our fabrics, where they are coming from, how they are getting grown. Everything we need to know about the fabric first, and then we have to think about the workers, the living wages, and everything. We have to know about the fair trades. So yeah, I think education is foremost
Yes.
important thing.
Obviously. I mean, I think with the NIFT and other institutes like that have actually brought about a lot of awareness now, and I think people have started to really kind of work on it. But the trend has been more towards the
Fast fashion.
machine-made
Yeah,
products because they seem to be cheaper. They can be accessed very easily, whereas handmade products become very costly, and we need to really go more deeper into why they are costly, whether the fabric is costly, or whether the cost of production is costly, or whether it is the marketing which is expensive. What are, in your opinion, the reason for sustainable fabrics like our handloom and organic cotton as well as silk? These products, why do we still do not have the real impact of really positioning them into the sustainability space? Because in my opinion, India should be the sustainable fashion on the top of the world, because we have so much of sustainability inbuilt into our culture, into our way
yeah,
and lifestyle. But we are slowly forgetting it, and we are going through the fast fashion route, and
yeah,
everybody really
right.
is getting into that area. In your opinion, what is the real issue?
You are right at the point when you say that Indians are already sustainable from their mind, like long before. Where we don't throw our clothes easily. We keep reusing them for various things. Like if we have worn out our pieces, then we use it for some other purpose. I have to also design those pieces into some other pieces so that I don't need to throw them. And it's a childhood habit. I don't know. We Indians have this habit. So yeah, and I think the issue is the trend. We are copying the fast fashion and everything. So that is why this is the issue. And we are low prices is definitely one of the reason. Prices are very low for fast fashion, and of course, sustainable fabrics related garments are expensive. We are paying price, but we don't know that this price is for the longevity, not the short term. So people need to understand the thing that once you are invested in this, then this is a lifetime product, not a single time product that you need to come and throw. So yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right on spot in putting that viewpoint. But also, fashion industry in as such is very polluting. How do we really bring in innovations, especially when you look at the kind of dyes that we use, the kind of water consumption that it has, and in terms of the waste that it generates? What do you think is the way forward?
You are right. We are like there are massive water consumption, like there are microplastic released by synthetic fabrics, and there are like literally it's like take, make, and waste. This is the process going on. So I think people are introducing new technologies slowly, slowly. There are new fabrics coming up like hemp. Hemp is the new cotton in coming years. It's getting replaced by cotton. It is like using 97% less water than cotton. So we are getting introduced by various things right now, and slowly, slowly we will cover the gap. It's not like the one easy solution. We
Yeah,
have to be like, we have to create the demand also. As a consumer, also we have to create the demand.
that's a very important point that you brought in. But when it comes to the this thing, I think the one of the other reasons is we don't really look at the entire process of the manufacturing of the uh, production process of the fashion industry. And we just look at piecemeal, just the selling part of it, and the most emphasis is given on the how fast you can actually change the fashion rather than really looking at longevity, which has been our plus point. The entire world is now moving towards sustainable this thing, and we are moving towards fast fashion. That's the dichotomy that we have. But what do you think is the role of technology that it can play in changing consumer behavior, as well as in terms of reducing the inefficiencies and the kind of projects? I mean, I might talk a little more on this because I have been researching on this, and as a technologist, I've really kind of looked at various aspects, and I'm helping startups across the globe now to help them adopt technology to really overcome some of the challenges which are there. But I'd like to know from you as to what do you think is the role that technology can play, and what is the role that
Technology.
innovation can play to bring in sustainability at the heart of, at the center stage, I would say. So while Ankita is taking a break, I'd like to continue in terms of sharing my screen and talking more about what I just mentioned in terms of the technology. So let us understand why we are really talking about why we are talking about sustainable fashion in the Sustainable Future Ideathon, and why you should participate in this theme. The fashion industry is a global business of about $2.5 trillion, and it is slated to be $5 trillion in this year, which is a huge, huge jump, almost doubling in the last 2, 3 years. The fashion industry is also most polluting industry where innovations need to bring this down. And one of the major reason is the digitalization of the fashion economy and innovation in the fashion industry. Now, whatever waste is being generated, sometimes it is because we are not really kind of paying enough attention that how we can repurpose the waste, or how can we minimize the waste in right from the production process to the consumption process. And if we digitalize this whole system, I think there could be a massive change that is possible. Also, there is a growing shift of sustainability and circular economy in the fashion market. Circular economy is not just post-consumer waste, but also in terms of looking at the pre-consumer waste. A lot of production houses, lot of manufacturing centers generate a lot of waste, which they don't know what to do with. And unlike the developing economies, most of the developed countries do not really pay enough attention towards this aspect. So as a result, they have unsold inventory, or they have unsold material which is not used. So just to give you an idea, companies like Raymond have at any given point of time 120 plus shades of the same piece of pant material, or trousers material. And the amount of inventory that has to really be stocked at every location becomes a gigantic task. At the same time, if something is not sold, to just take it back itself is a extra cost. So there is a dichotomy as to whether you should have more variety, or you should really restrict yourself to a lesser variety, and what sells where. That means prediction of what is required and what the consumers are demanding, and also trying to really fulfill that gap between the production and the consumption. So currently, the fast fashion trends and online shopping for mass market is growing. in both premium and the luxury segments. Also, there is a lot of personalization for quality products. Customization is not just for the wearables, but also for the experiences that you really create around them. And instant assistance at a low price. So everybody is become more demanding. Consumers have become more demanding. They are looking at very, very highly personalized products, and they need to have an experience the product before they can really sell. This is where technology tools have really helped, and it saves a lot of the waste being generated in the system. For example, most of the high-end luxury products are basically curated by fashion designers and exhibited through their fashion shows. Each fashion show produces a huge amount of waste. The sampling, the amount of money that they spend on marketing the fashion show and to deliver those 10 pieces or 20 that they really produce. And then the production process becomes much more expensive if we really look at it. So these are certain things that really bring in a question as to how we could reduce this, how we could reduce the amount of waste, amount of time, and the gap between what is desired by the customer and what is the this thing. So there is where AI has been used to do what is called predictive analytics, and also trying to really research the consumer behavior and the pattern of their buying, the pattern of the kind of shift in the choices and the kind of price point that they are looking at. So there has been a growing need, growing importance of the social media and the influencers for changing the consumer perception towards lifestyle. And also the smartphone obsession and the new generation, the Gen Z and the millenniums are also really catching up to it. So, what is happening around the world is that there is a growing trend of not only understanding or becoming sensitive to the kind of waste which is being produced, but also a change in the way the consumers are looking at. I mean, the kind of negative impacts that the fashion industry has on the planet itself, right from the amount of waste being generated to the carbon footprint that is being generated to the inefficiencies in the products, inefficiencies in the process, and inefficiencies in the and managing the customers' behavior. So this is where we came out with this concept of Ideathon, and for sustainable fashion theme. I have personally actually been involved with the fashion industry for last 5 years only. I don't have a very strong depth of understanding, but I have been positioning myself to really help the entrepreneurs, the young entrepreneurs, to take up this cause and start ideating as to what can be done and how they could produce products, technology products that can really bring about a positive change towards either the production process or the consumption of the this thing. So multiple models have been worked out. For last 5 years, I have been working with the most important accelerators worldwide, especially in Milan and in Italy, in Milan and Florence, SBC Fashion Tech Milan, as well as Style It in Florence. Now, these are accelerator programs which are world's top-notch accelerator programs. And it's a very strict process, to cohorts every year, and all these entrepreneurs are chosen with very strong scrutiny process. which itself takes 6 months time for each cycle. And then these entrepreneurs are helped by mentors like me and others who have taken up the responsibility that we are going to really work on producing more and more sustainable fashion and bring in sustainability as the heart of the things. So this is where I have been really working, and this is where we conceptualize this ideathon. Ankita, are you back? Please.
Yes, I'm here only.
Yeah. So let us really get back to our conversation. I have introduced my end of the this thing. So let's get back to our this thing. I'll stop the share and conversation. So
So yes, you were asking me about the importance of technology in
right.
sustainable fashion, and I am agreeing with most of the points you said in the last slide, like digitalization of fashion, use of AI to understand consumer preferences. So yes, these are very much important parts of technology that we have to use them to understand. Like if we know how our consumer will behave, how our consumer will choose, how their what are their preferences, then it's much easy for the brands to design accordingly, and it automatically will save the extra, or we say the surplus stock in the future. So yes, I'm really in favor of technology while using the sustainable fashion thing. And of course, there are apps which help. There are softwares which help us to design with zero waste patterns. Like if we design the garment in such a way using the technology that it's producing zero waste from the pattern, so it will definitely help to save the fabrics to going into the landfills. And of course the factories are not using those remaining trims and everything to use it in a way to not let them go into the landfill. So yes, technology plays a very important role, and definitely in today's time when AI is here, we have to use it for our benefit for long run in the industry.
Yeah. In fact, the world is moving towards gamification. World is moving towards gamification of the whole process so that you get the users to buy more sustainable, do it sustainably, don't have excess stocks at the end
Right.
user. And you have a very personalization through virtual reality and
Yes.
augmented reality, where you really are able to find what is the product, how it would look. So one of the 35% of the industry, especially the e-commerce, faces on is on returns. So the amount of returns and the amount of negative impact that it makes, not only in terms of the time and the cost yeah, that is incurred on the taking back the material that you don't like and you want to really, then the shipping cost, and also of course the new product that has to be really, so the old has to be discarded, and most of it really gets into the landfills.
Right.
There's
Right.
hardly, there is no mechanism for resale of products which are returned. And in the garment space, this is one of the big challenges which the
Yes.
world is
Right.
facing. And there are a lot of startups that I've mentored in the past, which we are trying to really see how we could really change this behavior, and taking sector by sector, especially bringing in circularity in the whole process by bringing in things. So, for example, kids. Now, kids normally the child between 1 and 5 grows so fast that whatever he's worn today, in a month time he might outgrow out of it. So what do you do with that? So there is a process that has been there are a couple of startups who are working on it, where you create a box of three pieces, which is of three different sizes,
Right.
and you subscribe to that, and once that first size is over, so you can ship back the first size, and you have that continuous rotation process for the products which are normally being used by the kids between the age group of 1 to 5. Now that has changed. There's another very interesting way of really looking at is to what we used to do in our Indian system is to create oversized garments for the growing age of children, especially within that uh, 9 to uh, 14, 15, because you want to really you're going very fast, and your clothes will not really be matching. So
Right. Right.
the hand-me-down concept, which is that you pass on whatever you have, the younger sibling takes that as a that was
Yeah.
one of the, but in the industry now, there is a growing need of really seeing how do we create garments which change their size based on the change in the person's this thing, which effectively means that you design a garment with the manner that you are building in at least 30% possibility of really
Right.
changing its size by doing one small change in the way the garment is designed. And
Right.
these are
Right.
some practices which need to
Yeah.
be brought in terms of sustainability. But to do it at scale requires an adoption from the big brands, and also with the consumers to really understand that and to really adopt it. We have a unique advantage in India that we have, uh, as far as our most of us prefer to use khadi and handloom products, which have a very small impact on the small negative impact on the environment. But the gap there is in terms of marketing, in terms of the credit, access to the artisans and weavers are mostly located in far off rural areas, and they are cut out from the main markets. So there are too many middlemen which really take away the profits, and they hardly get any benefit out of that. And that is one of the reasons why the sustainable products, the handmade products, become very expensive. And at the same time, most of the production that is done in the handloom weavers and artisans, it is very I would say there is not a continuous process. There are gaps in between where they don't have any job, and you still have to live. So you have to have something to really keep going, and that kind of problem is has been solved in the past through using what is called that self-help group concept and cooperatives, so that you do combined marketing. But I think now, with the amount of technology adoption which is there in the e-commerce, I think there is a lot of scope of actually integrating these value chains into a much more homogeneous way, so that we can have sustainable products also at a much cheaper cost. And we shouldn't be talking about cheaper in terms of the price of the acquisition of the product, but also the price per usage of the product, because a sustainable garment, or a garment which is produced with sustainable material, actually lasts a long, if you are designing it in the manner that I just spoke about, trying to really look at some of the additional things which are not very difficult to do, but you need to really kind of adopt some of these practices which are there. At the same time, the negative aspects of dyeing can be really solved through technologies like uh, so we have wet dyeing, so you can have a dry dyeing kind of process where you use the same mechanism as what we do for inking, in the publishing industry. So ink is basically writing on a paper, and that the cost of this thing is only of the ink that is actually used of that color in that particular place. So there is no wastage. There is hardly any waste which is there. And that's why the newspapers are much more cheaper, though the similar process, the similar yardage, if one has to do in a garment, the cost goes very high because the dye actually is applied over the entire surface and not just on that surface in which that color has to be brought in. So some of these practices need to be really seen and you have to come out with innovative solutions. And there is no better person than the young people and especially women to really because we've been doing that in houses, we have been doing that in our we've been taught to really kind of do that, but to bring it in the industry, to really be bold enough to really create something which is taking, this is where I think ideas, brainstorming, and initiatives like what I'm doing need to be done at the grassroots level, where we know that there are problems, but we need to really see what are the solutions which are there. Fortunately, Northeast is considered to be one of the most sustainable. They actually they do not use fertilizers. They are completely organic. Sikkim is 100% organic. Certified. Any product that is produced in Sikkim is organic. But organic alone is not going to suffice. The practices also have to really be the kind of cost that is incurred in terms of bringing the products down to the market, where you were cut off from the entire, I would say, country. Northeast was completely isolated for so many years. Now we have an opportunity that there is a massive railroad network that is coming up. There is where there were only 4 airports in the past. We now have something close to 14 airports. Almost every 100 kilometers, you have a rail network which is there. Road infrastructure is improved drastically. So this brings us to another point that we now have an opportunity, and we also have to really kind of the disconnection that was there with Northeast can be actually become the kind of infrastructure development that has been done, especially in the terms of the transport, and the cost of the production and the distribution can be really reduced. So what is that we can do on that, and so many other things. So Ankita, what do you think about this? Do you have some thoughts on the process, especially in the terms of distribution and marketing?
Ma'am, just give me a moment.
Yeah, it's okay. So I'll continue. I'll just share my slide. This will probably kind of give some idea about the Ideathon. I'll use this time to. So this is the Sustainable Future Ideathon, which is being organized by STI Hub Kokrajhar and the STI Hub project. Under this, we're basically.
I bet you didn't know your big idea could help shape the future. Whether you care about fashion, food, travel, or plastic waste, your voice matters. Here's how you can make real impact. The Sustainable Future Idea. Thon is calling out to every creative mind above 18, students, entrepreneurs, MSMEs, women, and youth. We're on a mission to spark innovation in fashion, food, tourism, plastic waste, and the circular economy, right here in Assam and beyond. Join us for hands-on boot camps this July, virtual or physical, where you'll get inspired, connect with mentors, and turn your ideas into powerful solutions. So this is your chance to build something bigger than yourself. Whether you're a dreamer, a doer, or just passionate about sustainability, we want you on board. Don't let your ideas sit on the shelf. Register now at www.smartedge.club/register. Together, Let's innovate for a greener tomorrow.
So these are our coordinates. I am the founder of SmartEdge. It's a virtual platform right now, but now we have a project which is being implemented at the most backward area in Borderland. And the idea was to choose an area which is most deprived to really see how we could really make the change possible in that area by use of technology interventions. So, Ankita, are you back?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, I would like to ask one question. How you are thinking that, how in your view, technology will help taking this movement of sustainability forward?
Yeah. So I really bring in three aspects of sustainability. I look at it from three different point of view. One is sustainability in terms of the material, that is the materiality. If what material are you using? Is that material sustainable or not? Whether it is degradable or not, whether it is. So the first point starts from there. The second point that we have is basically trying to really look at uh, improving the efficiencies and overcoming the challenges that one has. So, for example, I mentioned that returns is a serious problem. So, how do you really manage that returns are not? So, you build in a mechanism for returns rather than really having the return going back to the factory. Try to really find out a local vendor or local person, retailer who can actually do the take back. So there is a growing movement internationally to really bring the returns to a center which is very near to the consumer. So if there is, let's say, for example, somebody has there is a factory in Mumbai and they have shipped something to Delhi, and in Delhi, there is some problem that has been found. So the entire product, rather than being shifted to this thing, this is stored or it is actually taken back by somebody at a much lower cost of that product, and then he resells it. So there is a reselling mechanism that really gets down in and around the area where the product is being. So these are the ways where you can actually kind of reduce the kind of I would say inefficiency in the product, especially in terms of returns. The 35% returns now has come down to 26, is coming down so further down, because not only is the return being used for reselling, but also the cost of taking it back, then sending it to the manufacturer, and then manufacturer sending a replacement, and so on and so forth. This was one of the ways. The other way was to really look at that you try to really offer that particular product right on the same website at a much lower price. So there are new sites which have been created, which are basically trying to offer resale of the products which have been returned, or also the products which have been used by somebody, but they want to really return it because the size is not fitting. The most important change in terms of using technology here, which has come up, is on the personalization. So you have digital mirrors. So these digital mirrors are something like you can go into showroom, and there is a you can actually try in the trial room the garment. The cost of the returns is reasonably low. But you can now build the same technology through virtual reality and augmented reality right on your desktop, which is drastically changing the way. So it is, so why the returns happen? It is your So the way it looks on you, the size might be right, but it doesn't look well on you. So the
Like
look and the this thing both can be really taken care through virtual try-ons as well
virtual
as
trials.
this thing. So and in the production process, the same thing that is happening. So you produce only when there is an order. So rather than having 5 different pieces of the product in your showroom, you have only one piece. And if you want in some other color, you try out with the similar some other color through a virtual mechanism and then order it, and in 24 hours you can really receive it. It's not so difficult to do it if you have the what we call the digital twin of that product. And you have the digital version of what is the CAD drawing for it and what is the exact mechanism. It doesn't take so much time for the other processes because those processes have been laid down and they are well established process. Now, this requires a shift change. This requires additional amount of training at not just the production level, but also at the retailer level and also in the buyer's way of thinking. The best part is that today's generation is adopting it very well. And I think one of my entrepreneurs in Kolkata is actually working with the grassroots level people, helping them to convert their products for virtual this thing so that you can, so it's with a jewelry product that Kolkata is known for its jewelry products. Those jewelry can be, you can actually work on the designs, make them through a virtual this thing. And so people can now buy virtually after trying it on in a manner that is helping the sellers to really sell their products much faster, as well as get I mean, they don't have to really keep making a lot of products. They can just kind of bring in 4 or 5 products in a month and uh, concentrate on selling them and so on. So these are ways where technology can bring in, and I have a number of examples. And when we talk about fashion, we normally talk only on apparel, but fashion actually includes lot many things, right from shoes to the accessories, and also now there is a growing way of really kind of integrating technology into what is called the wearable. So integrating it with health, integrating it with your lifestyle in terms of music, in terms of your eyewear. So rather than having an eyewear and a separate headset, so you combine the two and you are actually having highly kind of one can say a product which is neither just an eyeglass or just a watch, but also it is monitoring your vitals. It's monitoring your the what you can see, not from what you are seeing in front of you, but also maybe at times on your side, on your other side of the thing, because now you have those technologies which can be integrated into your uh, eyewear that is there. And also music. So the Gen Z today really likes to hear music, and that music is now embedded into the garments, embedded into the this thing, safety devices, becoming a part of the fashion uh, space, especially when we talk about health. Now, health wearables are becoming very common. There are special products which are being designed for comfort, especially for absorbing uh, the sweat, and also trying to really give the heart rate of the person, so that if he is having some uneasiness, then there is a alarm which is there. So all those things is where technology is actually overcoming some of the challenges and creating new experiences. These new experiences are one that really catch a lot of attention of the young people. And in India, we are going to have the highest youngest population in the world. We are only number 2 to China, and we are slowly surpassing that. So we need to really think as to how we are going to adopt some of these technology for our betterment to improve upon our. And when it comes to Northeast, we have seen that Northeast is completely very fragmented. Despite the fact that there are 8 states in Northeast, one state doesn't talk the same language as the other state. And they have a huge amount of, I would say, isolation from each other. And they have their own set of practices and culture and language. So there is, but one thing is common, that they are the highest producers of silk and handicrafts. So how do we really leverage technology to really make sure that we produce sustainable material, but also use the technology to really take it far and wide? By bringing in some amount of efficiencies in the process, not just for their individual work, but also integrating the value chain, integrating the supply chain, and trying to really look for new markets, especially position their products in different geographies which currently they are not targeting. We're really surprised that in this area that I'm working with, that is the Kokrajhar region, produces 40% of the silk which is reared in Assam, in the entire Assam. But there are just 30 handloom weavers. That's all. So that is the real problem, that they just make something and then they just leave it there. So they do not make a product out of it. So if they don't make a product, where is the value addition going to come? And that's again, sericulture is something which is uh, very dependent on weather and so many other vagaries, and that's one reason why that area remains backward area. So we are trying to really see what interventions we can do. And I'm looking through this Ideathon to really have some interesting ideas come from people and experts like Ankita and others to really share their experiences, their knowledge, and uh, just to understand this problem has taken us 2 years. So I know that the problem is not going to be solved overnight, but there are a few people who are more committed than me. I have met in my last few interactions with a lady who is actually for the last 10 years working on creating local opportunities. And she has been working with AI, working with Malaysia, working with some of the other countries on the other side of this thing. So rather than looking at only India, she's been bringing experts from all over the world. Incidentally, it takes lesser time for people to come from Kokrajhar to go to Malaysia than to really come to Delhi. So that's the kind of uh, problem. Bhutan is like 45 kilometers from Kokrajhar, and you can go in an hour and a half. That's all that you need. So those are the things which now with technology, once you map it, once you know what is the kind of power of bringing this value chain together, you can do a lot. And that is where I see this Ideathon taking shape. Ankita, your thoughts before we close? Last thoughts as to.
Yes, I think you are absolutely right. Digitalization plays a very important role, and definitely slowly and steady. Once one we will all together will reach the stage where we actually are seeing our future is. So yes, slowly we can achieve that target.
So I encourage anybody who is listening to this should actually participate in this Ideathon. And I honestly feel that this is not something which is a rocket science. You can actually share one small idea can make a difference in the entire process. One small idea can change the way things are happening. And it's one idea at a time. We need to really bring sustainability into Northeast. With that, thank you very much, Ankita, and thank you for the people who have joined in.
Thank you, ma'am.
And
Thank you for inviting.
I'm pretty sure that you all will really contribute whatever you can and share this thought to the others, because I want it to be a movement, not a one-off activity which is there. This is just a thought that I had, but after 2 years of working on it, I think I see a lot happening on ground. And if a person can do it, I think we all, when we work together, we can do a lot more. Thank you very much, Ankita. Thank you very much for your
Thank
time.
you.
And
Thank
we
you, ma'am.
look forward to really see you and helping
Sure.
the
Thank you.
others to innovate.
Yes.
Okay.